What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the latest episode of The Layup.Line. My name is Dolos, and if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe for NBA videos like this one. I'm going to be doing this power ranking series twice a month, so hit the bell if you want to be notified about new videos. I talk about 3 teams during the video, but you will get to see on screen where I have all 30 teams ranked. This season, I am also listing tiers in addition to the ranking. This was a very difficult list to order because we are dealing with such a small sample size. I spent a lot of the time trying to decide if I want to weigh recent results more heavily or if I still want to base it off of expectations. The tiers are my idea to accomplish both. For example, the Wizards' start to the season hasn't convinced me that they belong in the higher tier of teams that I'm expecting to make a deep postseason run. But they've had great momentum to start their year, and I wanted to reflect that in their ranking. It's still tough to do because some teams have played fewer games or weaker schedules, so take this with a grain of salt and more about the momentum that teams are building over the course of a year. With that explanation over, let's get into this list. The first team I want to talk about are the Houston Rockets. I am disappointed by Houston's start to the year. I'm not naive. I know this team is obviously hoping to lose for draft lottery reasons, but they have some more vets than some of the other tanking teams, and Christian Wood looked like a sub-all-star in his 41 games last season. Kevin Porter Jr. was also looking prime for a breakout, so I was thinking this team would be more like OKC last season, where they were competitive for the play-in until they decided to shut players down and trade away some of their veterans. That can still happen for Houston, but the year will clearly be about growth from their young players. Top rookie Jalen Green has struggled to start the year. Jalen's scoring hasn't been there consistently for him. It's not unusual for a young scoring prospect to come along slowly. It's a different game having NBA level defenders guarding him, and his shot selection needs to improve. Part of that has been his usage. He's been off ball a considerable amount, which I think has been making him have a quick trigger when he actually does get the ball. The usage issue is because Houston does not have a traditional point guard. They have been grooming Porter Jr. for the role, but his 5 turnovers to 5 assists is a clear sign that there are growing pains to get through. Houston is at the top of the league for most turnovers, and bad offensive teams need to give themselves as many possessions as possible. They play with a high pace, so you can chalk up some of those turnovers to just playing so fast. Houston also has a lot of guys that are just missing shots. This team will obviously continue to lose this season, but if we can see growth in their on-ball decision-making from their young offensive players, I think that's how you define a successful season for the Houston Rockets. Moving on to the next team for discussion, I have the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets have been cold coming out of the gate. It may surprise you to know that Kyrie actually played the most games of Brooklyn's Big Three last season, but the fact that they still look so dominant with only 2 of their stars is why we were still considering them such dangerous title threats. With that in mind, a 4-3 start isn't the end of the world, and there is so much extra context around this team. Kyrie's vaccination status still hangs over the team's head, and there is a world where he gets the shot and returns during the year, and this all becomes a distant memory. But the Nets are operating as if he isn't coming back, which makes priority number 1 fixing this offense of a team with 2 MVP candidates. Brooklyn has a 104 offensive rating, which is in the bottom 10 of the league. That will naturally jump up when Harden gets out of his slump. Also check out my recent video I did on that. But one of the low-key problems has been the roster balance. Brooklyn's free agency acquisitions were largely big men, and they have a logjam at the position that does give them a lot of versatility in how they want to play in the front court, but they do need some more guard and wing depth to help them balance the court. Harden's struggles have also made it harder to maintain enough offense and defense on the court at any time. You try to use Bruce Brown or Claxton, and they're good defenders but not necessarily offensive players, and they're guys who hurt your spacing. You want to try out Blake or Aldridge, and you get stronger offensive players, but you get guys who are targets on the perimeter defensively. This front office has been impressive in the buyout and free agency market, so expect Brooklyn to be linked to any solid guards or wings that could be available for a low price. The Nets are clearly a team with an eye for the long game. They're playing for a long postseason run, but I do think it'll take some bolstered depth on the wing to help them get there. finally, the last team that I want to talk about are the Golden State Warriors. Golden State is 5-1. Steph Curry is front-running Vegas MVP odds, and the scariest part is he can very easily be better. It's absurd how he's destroyed the modern perceptions of efficiency in basketball. Steph is shooting 40% from 3 on 13 attempts per game, and I watch him thinking, yeah, he can probably increase that by 2 to 5%. Steph's mid-range ability, which I think also gets lost in his deep range shooting, but his 2-point percentage is down about 6%, and he has the lowest field goal percentage of his career outside of his 5-game season in 2020. Steph is having a B or C tier season by his standards, and Golden State is rolling because they adjusted their roster to fit their play style. Draymond is a subtly better offensive player, taking fewer threes and driving more, in addition to what he already does as a playmaker. Improving the spacing and three-point shooting of the roster has made them a lot more competitive. If you weren't paying attention, you may have missed Kelly Oubre building brick houses for the Dubs all of last season, and now only 3 of their top 7 in minutes are below 40% in three-point shooting right now. And 2 of those guys are Nemanja Bjelica and Jordan Poole, who still provide some on-court spacing because at least they have some reputations as a shooter. The elephant in the room is Klay Thompson and his recovery. He is the wild card that can dictate how long of a playoff run this team has, but the injuries he's coming back from will be gigantic hurdles for Golden State. They need more out of Poole right now. His shooting has cooled, and Damian Lee has come in to pick up the slack there, but Golden State is still in a relatively easy part of their schedule, so wins now will be super important. I trust Curry to start putting up video game numbers soon, but how much they get out of these other guys will be a huge indicator of success for them on a night-to-night basis. But that is all I have for you in this video. Drop some comments about teams you want to see me talking about in the mid-November update, or your thoughts about where I ranked or tiered teams in this video. I really appreciate it if you made it to the end of this one. If you have made it here, don't forget to like and subscribe, because that does really help the channel grow and get these videos out to other NBA fans. Again, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.